Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we are looking at our green shirts. So, kind of starting off here. Oops, if I can get my screen to work correctly. Uh, all right, here we go. All right. I only have three green shirts here today. I don't know what everyone's going to be looking for as far as extra characters go for background characters or whatever else. So, what I started off with is a standard green shirt, then we have a Navy trooper, and then I have a pilot. So that's really all I have here today. Please let me know if there's something you want me to work on for the future, um, and I will hunt around and see if I can find something as a good starting base and where to go from this. So start off with our green shirt soldier. Uh, Keeping the dexterity of 3D plus one, same thing that we had done with our Cobra Trooper. I didn't want to make him any less than that or whatever. But then I was also grabbing a little bit from the D6 Rebel Troopers, thinking that that might be a good base for this. So this is where some of the other stuff comes from. Um, Actually, I think I see something I really want to. I want to kind of knock out here. So as I'm kind of talking through this, all right. So you get the idea where I'm kind of basing this from. These are more leaning a little bit from the Rebel Alliance for the green shirts. Now, the other thing is these are good enough to work for the Joes, but they are not complete Joes themselves per se. They're kind of like a detachment to the Joes. Not saying that you can't get a green shirt from the Joes, but this is someone that is now potentially able to work their way up into being a Joe soldier. So, starting off with the green shirt, uh, dexterity is a 3D plus 2. We have a blaster of 5D plus 2, a brawling parry of 4D plus 1. We have a grenade skill of 4D plus 2, and a running of 4D. uh, Fairly fit, fairly accurate, and all that. Pretty respectable in a lot of regards. Then we have knowledge of 2D plus 2, so just a little bit above average. Our mechanical for our soldier is not as good. It's a 2D. Then we have a perception of 3D plus 1, which is above average, so good for our standard patrol, guard duty, and all that. We have a sneak of 4D plus 1 and a height of 3D plus 2. We have a strength of 3D plus 1, so again, above average, and a brawling of 40 plus 1. Our technical skills, we have demolitions, so we can put charges and all that. That's a 4D, and demolition bridge is a 4D plus 2. Gives us a little bit there. Now our movement is a 10. So one of the things I didn't add in on our Cobra Troopers, but they would have a movement of 10 as well. So I want to kind of mention that here, even though I kind of didn't add it in there. All right, so we do have our blaster rifle, 5D. We have two grenades. We have a handheld long range radio, same as what I gave the corporate troopers, and then we have our helmet and a protective vest or pro vest. Um, so if you want to add it all together, I don't have a problem with that. I would do that for the guys, trying to make them a little bit more resilient here, and being in our standard army situation, uh, I think it would be fitting. Now, this is just soldier. This isn't saying it's army. It's not saying it's marines. Whatever. I'm just saying it's just a soldier. Because when we get to next is our navy trooper. This is a whole different skill set here. So we do have a dexterity of 2D plus 2. Our blaster is a 4D plus 1, so not as good as what our green shirt soldier is. But we have brawling parry of 3D plus 1, a dodge of 3D plus 1. Our grenade is 3D plus 1. We have melee combat of 3D plus 1, melee parry of 3D plus 1, and running of 3D plus 2. Now, that's a lot of extra skills, and actually, to be honest, I copied this more from our Imperial soldiers because we don't have a Rebel naval trooper. So I grabbed this from there. Gives us a little bit extra kind of skill sets here, more formal than what the Rebel Alliance might have done. We have a knowledge of 2D plus 1, a mechanical of 3D plus 1. Now we have small boat operation of 5D plus 2. So this is going to be your, I would put like the hovercraft in here. I would put anything speed or scale in that, maybe up to a walker. But then when we have our capital ship operation, which is a 4D plus 1, that's going to be our frigates, our carriers, all that big stuff. I wanted them to be able to handle that. Now we have a perception of 3D plus 2, our command of 4D, our search of 4D plus 2. We have a strength of 2D plus 2, a brawling of 4D plus 2, and stamina of 3D plus 2. Now our strength I don't think is as good as what our um, action or our green shirt soldier is, but they're again, they're on the ship, they're dealing with other tasks on hand. Um, and then I kind of slipped up here. Let's see, I don't need ground vehicle repair. I need water vehicle. How about if we put that in there? When I was going through, because I was just going through, this just happened to work out to be what was the Cobra mounted trooper or whatever. Um, that's how that kind of got in there as I was adding and subtracting and rearranging everything. So our water vehicle repair is going to be 3D plus 2. Security is 3D. And we're going to take that out of here entirely because I slipped up on that one. All right. Again, we do have our move of 10. Uh, I left them with a blaster pistol, although we do have a rifle shown here. We can easily swap that out if you want. I left the vehicle repair kit in here for trying to repair the ships, the headset radio. We do have our helmet and protective vest. So all kind of slip ups here aside, I think it's pretty respectable. You know, when you're out at sea, it's not like you can just pull over and have techs or whatever repair this stuff. I don't have anyone as a repair crew as of yet. If that's something that we find that we really need, we could maybe add it on to our. Um, why don't we actually kind of copy this and then I'm going to kind of move this down here a little bit. Demolition. Oops. Trying to get this in here. We're going to give them a vehicle repair. We're not going to call it water vehicle. We're just going to call it vehicle. Um, there we go. And we're going to give them the vehicle repair of 3D plus 2. Now that gives us someone that can actually kind of work in the motor pool or whatever else as well. Uh, I think that would kind of be a little bit more helpful. All right, so let's get down to our green shirt pilot. Now, these are all pictures I found on the internet. These are kind of customs. So if you're on the team that had made the customs and that, you guys did good work, I do enjoy the pictures. Let's see. So we have a green shirt pilot, dexterity of 3D plus 2. We have a blaster of 4D, dodge is 3D. Then we have a knowledge of 2D plus 2 and a survival of 4D. Let's see, we have mechanical of 2D. Now, this is where things get kind of a little wonky for the system, but we have piloting for atmospheric craft of a 6D. We have rotary craft 4D and spacecraft of 4D because we do see them going out into space. So if it's like the Defiant or whatever, that would be our 4D. Um, Again, we needed our gunnery, so I have it broke down to our atmospheric, our rotary, and our space. Our atmospheric is 5D. These are what they were normally piloting. Rotary would be a secondary, same as the spacecraft, and those are going to be a 4D. Um, Wanted to be able to have a general green shirt that can kind of handle most situations there. We do have a perception of 3D, a strength of 3D, mechanical is 2D plus 2. So we do have atmospheric, rotary, and spaceship repair of 3D. Again, trying to get it as a just general green shirt personnel that can also repair as well as fly. I felt that was kind of important here. We do have the equipment, or our move of 10. Our equipment is a blaster pistol, 4D, um, comlink, or if we want to call it radio, and a sealed flight suit. Um, Mainly because if we have them going out in space, we want it to be a sealed flight suit. So that's all I have here today. Now, like I said, uh, if you're looking for different characters for green shirts or whatever, let me know. It takes a little bit of time to try and hunt and peck and try and find something comparable to base it off of and say, where do we want to go with this? Because Weston Games had done so many different characters, the Spec Force and everything else that might work for Marines or maybe for a SEAL team or something like that. If we wanted something a little bit more specific, I'm just trying to keep this a little bit more generic, seeing that these are supposed to be there to aid and assist the Joes that we create and we run with. They're not supposed to be the take over everything kind of characters. So that's my reasoning why I'm doing it the way I am. But again, I acknowledge that everyone's play style is a little different. And if we're looking for different characters, just let me know and it'll let me know what we need to work on. I will get these posted up here. So we will see these here in the short term after this is all posted up, like I did the other ones, and we'll move on from there. With that being said, thank you so very much for joining me today. It's always wonderful having you here. Hope you're doing well, and I will see you in the next video.